Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch SE 3 and compare it against the Apple Watch SE 1 and see which particular Apple Watch is the better one for you. Now, here's the thing I'll definitely tell you about both these particular watches. They're both very interesting, they both bring a lot of stuff to the table, and we'll go and see which one is the better one, mostly if it's worth upgrading from an Apple Watch SE 1 to an Apple Watch SE 3. Now, starting off, if you want to pick up either one of these particular Apple Watches, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both of these watches, the Apple Watch SE 1 came out in two different sizes, so a 40mm size and a 44mm size. So it was always nice to be able to pick and choose between these two types of styles. It was giving you a retina display up to 1000 nits of brightness, and that's kind of what you were getting inside of this particular type of watch. With the Apple Watch SE 3, this thing is basically the exact same size. So this thing is also giving you a 40 and 44mm size. So nothing really changes here. They're both aluminum bodies. They're both kind of aluminum casings. The only difference here is that on the front side, the Apple Watch SE 3 is giving you an always-on display. So that is a little bit of an advantage for that type of watch because you are getting a little bit of an improvement there. But even at that point, it really is not that big of a deal, and you're basically getting the same type of experience for the most part. Now, they both have the same type of button layout. They both have the same type of capability that side. In fact, the Apple Watch SE 3 comes out in two colors, where the Apple Watch SE 1 actually came out in three colors. So that was kind of another interesting thing going on for this type of watch as well. On the back side, you were essentially going to be able to go through and get this little charging pad, which is the same on both. You were getting your band selection on both too, so you can kind of go through and choose the different band if you want to. So that was something else that was really cool. And that's kind of it on the exterior. It's kind of more or less the same type of experience. But, if I were to pick one, I would say definitely the Apple Watch SE 3 with that always on display is nicer, but it really isn't that big of a deal when it comes down to it. Now, one other thing to keep in mind here too, when it comes down to these two devices, is that with something like the Apple Watch SE 1, there are still a lot of features built in that are similar between both. They both have pretty much the same type of heart type of applications. They both have high and low heart rate notifications, irregular rhythm notifications, and low cardio fitness notifications as well, which is something that's cool. You're also able to go through and get sleep tracking on both, but the Apple Watch SE 3 does give you sleep apnea notifications, and it gives you a sleep score as well, where the SE 1 doesn't have it. They both have cycle tracking, but the SE 3 has temperature sensing, and they're both the same water resistance. They both have cell options. However, the Apple Watch SE 3 does give you 5G capability, where the SE 1 doesn't really give you that. The battery life is stated to be kind of the same on both, but the big difference here is when it comes down to performance. The Apple Watch SE 1 is giving you the S5 chipset inside of it, where the SE 3 is giving you the S10 chipset. So that right there is also going to be a slight difference, because once again, if you're going to go through and pick up a watch here, it is very, very nice to be able to go through and pick up something like an Apple Watch SE 3 that's going to be giving you a significantly better, faster performing device when it comes down to it from that side. So I personally do think, just from that side alone, that is a really, really nice thing. And if you're going to be able to go through and pick up some sort of device or pick up some sort of watch, I feel like that right there is actually a really nice thing to have. And it is going to be kind of an advantage there from that particular side as well. So it's not going to be like the biggest deal in the world or anything like that. But I will tell you, to kind of sum up this whole entire thing, if you're going to go through and pick up a particular watch, I do think something like a Samsung Galaxy, an Apple Watch SE 3, that one is probably going to be the better one in a majority of ways. Like if I'm in the market and I'm going to go ahead and pick up a watch out there, then definitely something like the Apple Watch SE 3 makes a lot more sense for me personally. But at the same time, I do kind of feel like if you're going to go through and buy something, like an Apple Watch SE 1, this thing is still kind of irrelevant, but it's not going to be supported for that much longer. It's already not that supported for that much longer anyways. So I'd probably recommend going through buying something like an Apple Watch SE 3 or an Apple Watch SE 2 when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.